Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today we are going to be talking about the the Wizard101 Spring 2025 update. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay Gold, did you stutter? The Spring 2025 update happened 3 months ago. Are you perhaps talking about the Summer 2025 update that came out last week and has seen a couple maintenance patches happen so far? And dear viewer, I'm going to fondle your balls when I say this, but no, I did not in fact stutter. Today we are going to be talking about the Spring 2025 update. Most specifically, an issue that arose during it that has yet to be solved, and I was standing in front of Bernie the Fire Tree to start this video because, yeah, the Scion spellements have been bugged ever since the spring update released, and that's been a problem for a number of reasons. It's like, you know, PvE players might want to use, okay, maybe not, maybe Fire's not a great example for it, but maybe PvE players want to use the bottom path of Scion of Fire in PvE. Yeah, it's simple enough, you know, way fewer pips, maybe their teammates could set up like a Scald combo, that sort of deal, and that would have been great, that would have been all well and good. However, if you already had the PvP version of Scion of Fire, formerly known as Burning Notice, you would not actually be able to upgrade your Scion. And the reason for that is, in a moment of generosity that King Zal decided to show to the community, and I am gonna put a quick disclaimer real quick, I am very glad that they thought to do this, but in a moment of generosity they decided to give everybody who had trained the PvP Scion 75 Scion spellements when the spring update came to live. And that's what they did, you know. I thought it was a good thing that they did, you know. They it's just like you could already upgrade your Scion, or rather the Scions were already upgraded, which is why I have this Scion in my PvP deck and this Scion over here, which is kind of interesting. Technically speaking, if I wanted to, I could pack both Scions for PvE right now, but yeah, don't worry about it. But you get the idea. These have not been upgraded past tier 2, because this was what was given to me. I already had these two Scions in my Fire PvP deck before that update, and so just having these in here, you know, it was just generally a good call, because since the Scion spellements were bugged, you basically can't upgrade your Scion spellements and then walk into like another loading zone, for example, like if I were to walk into the Myth School, for example, after I upgraded my Scion with the, what is it, 283 spellements that I have. It's like if I were to upgrade it to the bottom path down here, I would walk into the Myth School and it would reset back to tier 1. So that is a problem that has been persistent ever since the spring update dropped, and it's a big issue. It's a very big issue, because it's like a lot of people rather, that have upgraded have just had their spellements straight up eaten. Like 75 spellements just gone like that. And there have actually been people that have found a way to actually upgrade the Scions, but it's kind of buggy and inconsistent, and I honestly wouldn't recommend trying it. I think the way it goes is you upgrade, like you do the first upgrade in your house, and then you walk out of your house, and then upgrade again, and then something like that. You walk in and out a bunch of times, and eventually it lets you upgrade, but I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if that's the way that it works. I am probably wrong in saying that, but basically it's real convoluted, it's real inconsistent, and it's just not something that I would recommend doing personally. But the reason why I'm still talking about this today in June of 2025 is because we are now past our second update cycle since this bug has sort of come around, and it's still not fixed. There were a number of patches in March that addressed some other bugs that came with the spring update, and it's good that they fixed those bugs. But the Scion Spellment bug, no matter how hard the devs tried, they could not patch it. And then there was a patch somewhere, like, I want to say the 23rd of April, somewhere around there, where they patched out some PvP spells. That would have been a good time for them to push the Scion Spellment bug fix if they had it fixed, and it was not pushed in that update. So I am assuming that means that they did not fix it. And even more confirmation on that, because we are now on the 15th of June 2025 and it is still not fixed. So with that in mind, we had the summer update, and people noticed even on Test Realm it wasn't fixed. And then, Test shipped to Live, still wasn't fixed. There was a patch on Thursday the 12th, still not fixed. And it looks like that it's not really high on the devs' priority list. And which is fine for right now, given that the summer update did just come out. They've got to iron out some bugs. Ghastly Conspiracy Raid apparently doesn't have a timer, which is a little goofy because all the other raids, even the Nightmare, has a timer. So yeah, that's probably not good, and it's good that they address the summer update bugs as quick as they can. But this Scion Spellment bug, I'm a little worried, because as time goes on and a fix is not pushed, we're sort of in limbo, because it's like, people like me, it's like, maybe given the recent dot changes, now that these cards are gambiting dots instead of just having them as a conditional, for me, I might want to pack more Scions compared to Ifrits. But I can't do that because Scion of Fire is currently bugged and I can't upgrade it. So yeah, I think that since this bug has been so persistent, the devs have tried to fix it before and it has not worked, then I think what ultimately needs to happen is, and bear with me here, every single person's Scion needs to get reset back to tier 1, like fully, and then just completely remove every single spellment that currently exists in the game. Turn them into these blank spellments, or I probably have them in like reagents or something, but turn them into these blank spellments that basically just they don't exist. An old spellment without form or function, and that's what all the Scion spells would become. And what would happen after that would be, effectively, KingsIsle should put out a code somewhere on their Twitter, on their Discord, if even take that step, and not just stick 685 spellments directly into every player's gift box for each Scion, which is, honestly, in my honest opinion, that is the only way that I think this bug can be fixed. Because people getting the Scion spells going forward won't have the bug, since they weren't given 75 spellments for free, that sort of thing, and having that bug it out. So the bug pretty much wouldn't persist following this, and then what would happen is people would still be able to train up their Scions, given the code or whatever for the spellments that KingsIsle would put out on Twitter, Discord, etc. And that would at least compensate the players for all of the time lost. The players that have farmed for spellments, like, what would happen there is, like, sure, those spellments would be gone, but at least the problem wouldn't persist, and you would actually like get the spellments back from a code for all 7 schools, and you'd be able to tier 5 it as well, because I know that there's a lot of people who have upgraded their Scions all the way to tier 5, or have at least gotten the spellments to do so. So I think just that's what's gotta happen at this point in time, because Scion this bug has just sort of plagued Wiz ever since the spring update, and I think that if the Scion, like every existing Scion spellment, were to get turned into blank spellments, and then, like I said, put out a code that gives everybody 685 Scion spellments of every single school, that is enough to take every single Scion from tier 1 to tier 5, but it is 35 short on unlocking them, so you know, you would still have to do that, but just putting out that sort of code to compensate the players for the time lost. And yeah, I think that is realistically the best way forward at this point. I think we're past the point where a bug fix is going to be as impactful, because it feels like this issue is on the back burner and the devs aren't really concerned with it necessarily. I mean, that's not to say that they've completely ignored it. It's just that they've tried to address it. It hasn't worked, and that's probably tanked their morale. So them just sort of putting out a code to at least band-aid fix this issue is the only path forward that I can see as of right now. That's the only way that I think they could sort of pick back up for this bug having existed for 3 months now. And I don't know, definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Would y'all support just every single existing Scion spellment getting just deleted and then having a code get put out to, I guess, let people upgrade them again, that sort of deal? So definitely let me know what you think. But for now, I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.